Senator Kelly. Senator Clochartaigh, you have four minutes.
Going to be the last hardly thought to I have to say that on the outset, I think I'd agree with most of what's been said so far. And I think that the development of the wind energy strategy in this country so far has been an absolute shambles. And I place a lot of the blame with the previous administrations. And I think I'm going to try and stick to the planning elements of the issues here. I was at a meeting in Moycullen in Galway on the 19th of February. There are 8 wind farms planned there with 103 turbines within an 8-kilometre radius, and 29 of those within 4 miles of Moycullen village. The implications of that are there are going to be 1,176 trucks driving through that small village. There doesn't appear to be much of a traffic management plan in place. Each of the turbines needs 80 trucks of concrete. So in the case of one of the farms, that's 800 trucks of concrete. The impact this is going to have on the local community is massive, but they claim to me, and there was a huge segment of the local community there, that there was no meaningful public consultation on these developments whatsoever. And I think the lack of guidelines on a national level and the lack of joined-up thinking that there are different government departments dealing with different elements of this is part of the problem that we have. There is also a very interesting case in front of the Public Service Oversight and Petitions Committee at the moment, which relates to Lettergunnet and Derrick Wind Farm brought by Yvonne Cronin, which cites that there are 6 instances of contravention of the County Development Plan due to omission of documents, which are including the Community Noise Assessment, Community Impact Assessment, Habitat Directive Assessment, Peatland Conservation Management Plan, Land Site Susceptibility and Risk Management not submitted, and an Environmental Impact Assessment not prepared. That case never got a hearing because of a technicality. The people in question, petitioners in question, tried to have that planning revoked under Section 44 of the Planning Act, but so far the Galway County Council have not taken up the opportunity to do that. There is very much a sense, I'd have to say out there, that the developers and the executives in the county councils are working hand in hand on this issue, which also raises questions as to a certain conflict of interest, I would say, among the councils, because the councils are due to benefit hugely from the erection of wind turbines across the county because of the monies they will receive. So therefore, one could argue that it would be in the favour of the executives in the county council to put up as many wind turbines as possible. And I feel that, and I certainly know from talking to people in the community, that the communities themselves feel that they've been ridden roughshod over, or else there's been sleight of hand regarding consultation processes, site notices, etc. There are huge issues about developments that are going ahead and the way that the planning is being policed, even when planning has been given. I've been told of instances where blasting happens without people being consulted, where there is huge traffic congestion, etc., where that wasn't put, where the traffic management plans are not sufficient or were not communicated to local communities, and the noise factor from some of these sites as well. Certainly, I think, Minister, I would like your opinion on the level of, say, for example, those 6 documents which I noted earlier. In the case of all the developments across the country, are your department happy that every document of those types of documents, which such as noise assessments, community impact statements, HDAs, etc., are they in place for every single development? Because if they're not, I think those developments should be reviewed. And as regards the use of Section 44 of the Planning Act, do you feel that county councils should do that? And there's also a huge disparity among county councils as to the way the guidelines themselves are implemented. Some councils will say, yes, you can put a wind farm in an SAC. Other councils say, no, you can't. What happens in those scenarios is that developers are giving planning permission through wind strategies that develop wind farms very close to houses. And that's why a lot of these are totally unacceptable. I'd also like your thoughts on the idea that
you have 30 seconds.
A public servant, for example, from a county council could be a director of the likes of EirGrid, and EirGrid is the organisation which grants the connections into the network, because of the potential conflict of interest again of the county councils making a huge gain from where those connections might come in place. It is our opinion that really wind energy is a natural resource. We made huge mistakes in this country about the way we've licensed our oil and gas. I hope we're not going down the same route with the way we're developing wind energy, that it's totally developer-led and that there is very little gain for the local communities. And I would agree with previous senators who have said that there should be a moratorium on developments until we review totally the number of developments that are there. We need to move on Senator Kennedy's wind turbines bill, which we both agree I think doesn't go far enough, but at least it's the first step. And we need to look at the ECJ ruling which you mentioned on the making the permissions illegal because of the potential cost for the state.
Thank you, Senator.